By Donald Trump standards, it wasn't much of a tweet, but Hillary Clinton getting all kinds of attention for taking a swipe at the media. This in the wake of the French presidential election. The former First Lady said this: victory for Macron, for France, the EU, and the world, defeat to those interfering with democracy, parenthesis. But the media says, I can't talk about that. So let's unpack that for a moment. The media can't control what Hillary Clinton talks about, obviously. But this is in reaction to the way in which she got beat up by the press for this event that she did last week, interviewed by CNN's Christiane Amanpour, in which she said she took absolute responsibility for her election loss, except she blamed just about everybody else: James Comey, WikiLeaks, Russian hackers, and didn't talk about, for example, the Rust Belt state she didn't campaign in or her lack of a strong economic message. So that's what she's referring to, because the interfering with democracy is a reference to the fact that a Russian-affiliated group is believed to be responsible for a massive hack into Macron's emails, which we didn't read much about because French media decided, under some pressure from the government in Paris, not to report the contents. Obviously, that would not happen here. And so it's interesting because ever since that she was First Lady in the 1990s, Hillary Clinton has had a fair amount of resentment toward the media. This really came out in the 2016 campaign. You remember the entire mess with her email server. She not only denied it was a real story for months, but she blamed the press for overplaying it. And now she's in the mode of, fending off criticism from those who are saying she should take responsibility for what she did wrong in the campaign and not just be doing the blame game. I happen to think, she's entitled to speak out because she can say whatever she wants. But clearly this got under her skin a little bit with this sarcastic comment about, well, the media say I can't talk about this. Maybe we'll be seeing a more unshackled, unfettered, and perhaps interesting Hillary Clinton on Twitter, because during the campaign, I had to read all these things. Well, Trump was tweeting constantly about morons and idiots and fake news, which he still does as president. Her Twitter feed was so boring. I think she was afraid to let her personality show. So let people get upset about her crack at the media. I don't think it's that big a deal, but it does show you the resentment that she feels right now. Now contrast this with Barack Obama, who gave a speech the other day in which he called on members of Congress to have more courage. He was accepting the JFK Profiles in Courage Award, in standing up to their own party, meaning the Republicans, to protect the law that is nicknamed for him Obamacare. But he was very careful. He didn't go into the details of pre-existing conditions and all that, not to mention President Trump, not to make it appear like an attack on Trump, because if he had even mentioned Trump's name, the media would have been all over that. Former president striking back at the current president and all of that. So I think it's fine for Obama to engage in public debate. I think that he appreciated what George W. Bush did, going off and having a quiet post-presidency and painting portraits and not attacking his successor. I don't think that Obama's going to stick to it in quite that way, but I do think he knows that he will get a lot of blowback if he takes on Trump. So of the two X's, the ex-president and the ex-candidate, Obama taking a much more low-key approach to the Trump presidency. Hillary Clinton, not so much, as she is working on a book and she's clearly going to speak out against Trump. I think she wants to vindicate history's judgment, which is that she blew an election that most Democrats, at least, think she should have won.